right, we are back in the building. Today I got a special guest all the way from the beautiful country of Switzerland. It's nice, it's beautiful. I'm here in Dubai. It is hot, humid. It's crazy out here. I'm surviving, but thank goodness I got some good AC. So anyways, hey, Patrick Prinz, welcome to the XDcast, the official podcast of XD.com. And yeah, man, welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Marcus. And I can tell you this is as hot probably in Switzerland right now as in Dubai. We have plus 30, and or beyond 30 degrees, and we're also melting. The thing is, air conditioning is not as popular here as in Dubai. And so
Right.
I think, there's a real business opportunity here for the next few years.
Really? Okay. I'm kind of blown away because to me, when I think of Switzerland, I see, Discovery Channel, like the mountains, the snow-capped mountains, water flowing, all that.
Still exists.
Yeah.
But we over the last couple of years, we have seen more and more heat waves. And I think we're right amid one right now. And it's, people are suffering. Yeah, I can tell you this.
Okay, fair enough. And I understand, yeah. But anyways, speaking about heat wave, I mean, hey, things are getting hot in the cryptocurrency marketplace. We got
Is it hot or cold? I'm not really sure.
Oh, yeah. I know. I would say it's getting cold, maybe. I think that would be the right word. But I'll tell you what, in terms of, everyone's focusing on the prices. But, for me here at the XDcast, and I'm sure with you guys at the Bitcoin Association, you guys are focusing on the tech. You are focusing on blockchain-based solutions. So before we get there, I would love to hear a little story from your side, an original story, how you got into crypto and blockchain, and also how did you get to BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision?
Right. Happy to tell you. So my origin is actually in Austria. I've been living here in Switzerland for about 9 years now. I started in the financial industry, investment banking. I was then also consulting the big banks here on, strategy-wise on regulatory topics and also on kind of back office and middle office efficiency topics. I was part of a strategy consulting firm.
Yeah.
And more recently, I worked for a hedge fund. So I was doing a lot of cross-border investments into restricted countries and asset classes. And this is where for the very first time I also touched on digital assets. It was around 16, 17, the first kind of wave on digital assets and people starting to make money. And back then we were one of the first funds globally that allowed for subscriptions in digital assets. Because you might remember, people made money, but they didn't really know how to use it, right? And so that was quite innovative back then. And we also built like a geo-redundant, multi-sig cold storage system, and we gathered quite some experience. And in contrast to many of the other funds that just held token portfolios, we actually put together a little team and went out to explore what are the real capabilities of this tech. Because we've always considered ourselves at this fund to be, boutique, but trusted advisors on special topics for our clients. And we had no idea that was the reality. And we went out, many conferences, many conversations in all directions. And very quickly, I noted that most people had no idea. Right? Most people in this industry coming from, either the FX trading side, or they came from, some other trading teams from a bank. They were disillusioned by the banking industry. They were looking at a highly volatile, 24/7 tradable, new underlying. It was perfect. And this is still how it feels with many until today. But, I've also had conversations with entrepreneurs. And I've had conversations with scientists and researchers, and started slowly looking under the surface at capabilities of tech. And I feel if we look at these 10,000 plus blockchains that are out there today, the capabilities that people believe exist are not really present. And so are other factors such as the interpretation of decentralization. Long story short, I also came across the Kongi conference back then, and I was amazed because I met purely entrepreneurs. And for like this 2-day conference back then in 2018. No one talked to me about price, which was unique. And this was my first interactions also with Craig Wright. And it was at a conference of, I think, 2018 in London, where he spoke the very first time about the MetaNet. I've never heard about it. No one really did. And, after his presentation, I went into the forum and talked to people, and everyone was like, what the heck is he talking about, right? It's all BS. And here we are, 2022, and Facebook rebrands to Meta, and everyone talks about the metaverse, right? This was the first instance where I encountered him being really ahead of the curve. I was in the Bitcoin Cash Camp. I understood that scaling, is important. I also felt that payments should, the transaction fees should fall as you scale, obviously, economies of scale, right?
Yeah.
I like the idea that miners start professionalizing. And last but not least, I also like the idea then of being allowed to create higher functionality, smart contracts, tokenization, also on the Bitcoin protocol. Bitcoin Turing Complete was another thing, right, that Craig Wright put out early on. You might remember this famous interview with many kind of
I remember with Nick Szabo, right?
Small blockers. Yeah, exactly. And this is also something that if we look back now, I mean, he was very right. So gives us some hints. And I stay close to them. And it was in 2019. I was at a conference in Toronto, again, CoinGeek. And I was like, man, you gotta commit yourself now if you really think there's merit to this industry. And so I stepped out of the hedge fund and joined the Bitcoin Association, which was just setting up its legal entity in Switzerland. There's a registered Swiss non-profit, right? That's a popular legal entity vehicle here in Switzerland for many other, sports foundations and blockchain foundations and so on. And I started as an operation manager, building the association from scratch. We audited. We have a board. We have to abide to the Swiss laws here, and we are really well documented and a robust organization. That was very important from the beginning. Like, this is a long-term play. This is not like a short-term thing. We're here to stay around.
Right.
And we've grown significantly since then. We have more than 40 team members globally. We have set up an office in Dubai. We have set up an office in Shanghai.
Right.
We have shared working spaces in Berlin. We have one in South Florida, and we have a few more in the pipeline. And that has been quite a tremendous journey. And as of last year, I was promoted to the managing director of the association. So I'm leading the global operations now. That's the long story short. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been an exciting journey.
Yeah. Hey, no. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, first of all, thank you for sharing that, sharing your journey. From there's some points in history where you shared I could relate, and actually, I feel really joyful just listening to your story, because there's so many things I could relate, and not many people share that kind of history in the past, and now you're working with the Bitcoin Association, and how you guys have grown expanded into various places. I think that's just shows a lot of strength, not just the tech side, but the people behind it, so definitely want to showcase that. So
Marcus, I place an emphasis on not having anyone in the team that comes for a salary. We're not Goldman Sachs, first of all, right? Secondly, this is about a technology that kind of, things happen 24/7. People are very dedicated within our team, and they're driven by passion. They're driven by passion and an opportunity that they see for themselves, being at the forefront of an emerging kind of disruptive technology. And it's the same for me. I've never considered working for a non-profit. I'm as much for-profit thinking as you can get, right? But the reality is, I saw an opportunity in being among peers that I can learn from a lot on the technology side, a lot on the economic side on Bitcoin, and understand a bit the dynamics in the industry. And so, but the real opportunity here is understanding what is possible with these new tools that are available now, and eventually, building a company yourself. And it was actually in 2020, in parallel, when I kind of exited the fund, I launched also a project myself, more to really commit myself and make sure I really spend the time to and learn by doing. And together with friends, I built a non-custodial virtual data room that ran on BSV. And it taught me once again, it's basically a Dropbox, if you think about it, and you can, every action within the Dropbox is a timestamp. So it creates an immutable audit trail. It was thought of for industries, right, that are highly regulated, be it financial industry or like in the innovation sector and so. And we also integrated an end-to-end encrypted chat functionality, also fully on-chain. And it made me realize the following thing: I need a lot of transactions, right? It was like every cursor move, basically every click, every amendment of a document was a timestamp. And so we used this data room for a couple of large tech M&A projects through our network. And it hit limits, and so we needed to make improvements. And we learned very early on there was no limits on BSV on the infrastructure side for our application, right? We had internal limitations, let's say, the way we were set up, but that was very comforting to know. Going back now to the ecosystem that we have today, we see a lot of influx from companies from Ethereum as an example, right? Because they hit those limits. And the platform is only sexy that long until you realize it limits you in your ability to make money. And hence super cheap transactions, a lot of transactions. That is always something that has driven me, and that's why I found myself in BSV.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Like not many people. As you know, not many people do talk about BSV. I think a lot has to do with, I guess, the cultural narrative or the political narrative, but not many people focus on the tech side. Because, like I said earlier in our previous conversation, when it comes to Bitcoin, a lot of people focus on the coin aspect of Bitcoin, but for me, I want to look at the bit aspect, the computational power of Bitcoin. So if you're meeting some new, like say you're meeting some people, either from enterprise or regular Joes and Janes out there, how would you explain the power of BSV compared to, say, BCH, Bitcoin Cash, or Bitcoin Core, BTC, if you don't mind?
So I view most of the blockchains focusing on a single use case. And we're still in this cycle where people rather create a new blockchain, right? Because it doesn't fit their use case. So they create one specifically for the use case. But the interoperability of data has always been very attractive to me. Not being restricted by a single service provider that sits on your data. Making it very easy to just leave a platform and plug into another one and taking your data with you. That I find very appealing. And so what kept me with BSV is because I see the most potential for disruption in terms of innovation. And I see one platform powering all kinds of use cases, be it peer-to-peer electronic cash payments, or be it NFTs, or be it anything data related. And I think we have no vision yet of what is going to come out in terms of innovation of these new of this efficient platform. But I don't see the economics for 10,000 or even dozens of blockchains to exist in parallel. If we go out and we talk to a lot of different enterprises, I mean, this is still where my network is coming from. The most common approach today seems to be an understanding that a permissioned ledger is not really innovation. I think most have come to this conclusion by now. So in the beginning, there was this hype about Corda, Hyperledger. I think it's over. Even within IBM, I don't see, among the salespeople at least, I don't see appetite anymore.
I think that one shut down a long time ago, right?
I think within our kind of within our sphere, yes, but it hasn't reached every kind of existing enterprise out there. But by now, I feel very confident this is dead. And so now they're looking at permissionless, and then they have a few options. And most companies I encounter right now, they have the strategy of let's co-develop on several protocols to ensure or to just hope that we have the winner among it. But they also believe that it will be not many, but a few. Interoperability among protocols is still a topic, but I feel that we're slowly getting out the direction of also, okay, we actually need one underlying, unboundedly scalable data protocol. So to conclude your question, it's a data protocol for me, right? And so the peer-to-peer electronic cash system, right? The focus here is on system as well. It's not just cash. And there's a long debate with someone on Twitter recently, some economist, that claimed that Bitcoin was created as a US dollar competition. That's bullshit, right? It's a token system. It's a token system that tracks ownership. Yeah. And it could be also the, Uganda shilling or Indian,
rupee.
Indian rupee, sorry, yes. It's a token system that allows you to assign any kind of value. It's programmable.
Right.
And so it's not limited to being a US dollar competition. That's the digital gold narrative that probably created this belief.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and I was just kind of, it's interesting you brought up digital gold because, when I learned about Bitcoin, read the white papers and stuff, and, I was excited about the peer-to-peer, electronic cash system for the world, how the narrative changed from peer-to-peer to this digital gold / glorified savings account, so I'm kind of like, honestly, I'm kind of blown away how we got to this narrative. But do you think in the future that will change into the natural change in the cryptocurrency space?
I mean, this narrative emerged because it's the only way for a BTC to survive. If the belief is kept alive that you can invest in it, because if no more investors come in, if the price doesn't continuously increase, how should miners be compensated going forward? So they completely killed the digital cash element. And now, I see a further fragmentation in the BTC core developer camp, as you have people heavily arguing in favor of adding inflation as a compensation. It's just hilarious to watch right now, because the same people that argued against big blocks are now arguing in favor of inflation, and it just confirms somehow the what has already happened in the past, and it's kind of a repeating story. I look very much at the economics of Bitcoin. I find it fascinating. It's a very well-balanced system. And I feel by making changes to the protocol that have been made several times, and also all these other, derivatives such as Ethereum even, they also brought the system into imbalance. And so I feel that will, eventually result in them not being a success. But we're going to see. I mean, the focus of BA is to stimulate activity in the network. And that is important because we need transactions, right? It's transaction fees that incentivize the miners to come on BSV. It's the transaction fees that make it economically viable for the miners. And you mentioned also peer-to-peer. That's an important element, because if you look at it, I mean, there's a whole section, SPV, Simplified Payment Verification, in the white paper that everyone disregards or says it's not working. It's a 9-page paper. Why would someone put a full chapter in a 9-page paper if this doesn't work, right? We very much believe in SPV. We call it light client internally. We have a whole program set up, and BA also holds the patent on SPV. And so we are going to implement now SPV in all our wallets that exist in the ecosystem. And we're also working with exchanges. Because right now everyone still runs a full node, but that's not necessary, right? Nodes should run a full node. Everyone else or users run SPV. And so you should only verify the transactions that are important to you. And I think this will really enable peer-to-peer and add obviously to scalability of BSV eventually. So you just watch out. The next few months will be interesting. We have already published the light client toolbox for the ecosystem. There's going to be a phase 2 right now where we're working intensively with with exchanges and other service providers to cater to their needs.
All right, nice. Okay. Now I'm excited about that. When it comes to BSV, long before, I met some folks, who were supporter of BSV, but I started, what interested me about BSV, I think you will definitely agree with me, is I see a lot of entrepreneurship. There's a lot of startups. There's a lot of really smart people who are trying to solve the problems in the marketplace, trying to create businesses that solves, regular people's problems, whether it's social media or NFTs, a full suite of tools. And, and seeing, talking to people here in Dubai who attended the Bitcoin Association, the event, a lot of people were pretty impressed, just the scalability side of things, not just small business, government, enterprise. So I know I'm excited to see, more entrepreneurship. You can actually literally build entrepreneurship on BSV. Just to make the statement out there. So I'm kind of excited about that.
I agree. That excites me also. That is the single reason why I'm here. I think it's the single biggest entrepreneurial opportunity of our lifetime. And I'm also here to learn, to network, and to understand, what others are already doing, why they're doing it. That gives me a lot of satisfaction. It's very stimulating. You have to keep in mind, I'm not coming from a technical background. So I look at economic and I look at business opportunities, and that resonates with me. Within the ecosystem, you have, the Genesis update was when, in 2020. So this was only when the original design of the protocol, the Bitcoin protocol, was restored, including the opcodes, right? Including also the no limits to block size. And all of a sudden, right, you had this wave of also entrepreneurs and developers coming in, and we have really had to catch up with what has already happened in Ethereum, as an example. Tokenization, smart contracts, right? All this we are years behind. But there's no limits to building it on BSV. So DeFi, as an example, on the UTXO model of Bitcoin is like DeFi on steroids, right? I'm not, not saying DeFi is a great thing, but it's entirely possible. So people start to only explore things now, and as the narrative that only Ethereum is for kind of higher functionalities and for smart contracts slowly changes, we see people coming into our ecosystem. We also changed the narrative and the way we go about it within BA, and we place a lot of emphasis on increasing knowledge, also theoretical knowledge of Bitcoin, the history, of understanding really the protocol. And we have excellent people that build toolboxes. But now I see us being at a stage where the toolboxes exist. Some of these systems are modular, SDKs exist, and it's much easier for people that are not as technical, not as knowledgeable about Bitcoin to build businesses. So under my leadership now of BA, we place a full emphasis on entrepreneurship. And you will see this across all our initiatives, from educational programs to the technical standards committee that we have. It's all about making it easy for entrepreneurs with limited technical knowledge to benefit from the innovation that comes out of this very efficient infrastructure. So that's really exciting for me. The education programs within the past were often, programs with universities and so on. Now we are partnering with incubators. We are focusing on, people creating startups, people creating business models in emerging markets, also in Western markets. And I find this personally very stimulating.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought the entrepreneurship side, and you're trying to make it easier for new entrepreneurs who are not technically sound, but they just need enough tech stuff to support them. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I have some friends who are interested in applying blockchain to their businesses, whether it's e-commerce or whatever it is. But I did tell them, hey, look, if you want to go for the this is my story, proof of work route, hey, I think you need to go with BSV. If you want to go with a proof of stake, you look at some other protocols. But I think you need to have a look at BSV and see for yourself the entrepreneurship that's happening over there. And how to make your business faster, easy, and reliable. Because I think to me, it's to get people to use blockchain. It's, the user experience has to be great, and I think BSV compared to even other protocols could provide that.
Yeah. In this whole industry, we are still so excited about blockchain, and we sell blockchain all the time. But what we should actually focus on is solving user problems, right? And I even find myself sometimes in situations where I'm thinking about all the exciting things that I think enable blockchain, only to realize that users are already being able to do that. So we have real-time payments here in Switzerland, right? There is an application that was kind of co-founded by most of the banks. It's like intraday real-time payments, at the cash desk and so on, with the Swiss franc. So does it really make a difference for me? Where it makes a difference maybe is on the merchant side, right? Because they are paying 2.5% fees on this, right? They might be interested, but the user, how do you get their adoption? Maybe through price differentiation, but what are the how do you lure in the user to start using alternative payment methods? So this is sometimes things where we're so excited about what it can do, and not realizing that we have to take the user's perspective or the client's perspective and understand, is it also a game changer for them? Or does it actually not change their user experience, right? And so why would they adapt it?
Yeah.
So I feel in this industry, it's still a microcosm, let's face it, right? And we have to start thinking about user problems and go out and market to users and real life kind of clients rather than market to each other, right? I often find myself, I'm attending lots of different conferences, also by competing camps and so on. I'm very open-minded, and I'm continuously validating my hypothesis. Often you find yourself just among other blockchain guys, right, or girls, and it's like people kind of promoting to each other. It's still very early days and immature. We as BA now going forward will just function as a platform for ecosystem companies, and we want them to talk to the real world customers and businesses out there, and not promote kind of internally. That is not going to be successful.
All right. Okay. Now that's interesting. Actually, I'm kind of curious about the Blockchain Association. I know you guys have emphasis on education. I believe also the BA has an incubation program. Is that correct? So is it just BA or through some other?
It's partially correct. So we have membership structure and also donors that finance us. We have a board, we have a team, and we have different initiatives. The mandate of BA is to make it as easy as possible to start working on BSV. And that includes giving access to education and giving access to tools, right? Facilitating collaboration. We've done a really bad job in this in the past, I have to admit. Right, we were all going out talking to large enterprises and so on. We didn't foster a healthy ecosystem, so we have to catch up on this. We created now a Discord, didn't exist before. We created a developers forum, didn't exist before. We create free demos where we're paying for people to actually start issuing NFTs on BSV to see the difference to Ethereum. We've just published a transpiler program which allows you to very easily convert Solidity-based smart contracts into S-script-based smart contracts. S-script is the higher level language on Bitcoin. And so we're trying to make the transition and and finding your way into BSV as easy as possible. And there we have room for improvement. Let's say that. So my emphasis is fully on creating a platform that just enables you to come on board and get going. And get going doesn't mean anymore you have to sit down and study Bitcoin theory. No. It means you understanding what are the new tools that exist. And then you can already work with companies that are providing SDKs and providing basically tools that give you the benefit of all these, of all these new tools, but without having to go through the complexity of the blockchain. It's very modular. The same way you and me can, you might be a developer yourself. I'm actually not sure, but you and me can build a homepage.
I'm not
easily.
at all.
Okay. But we can do this very easily, right? With modular service offerings on the internet. But I don't know, some 10 years ago, so you needed to be a web developer. And I see the ecosystem going the same direction. So I'm placing an emphasis on not training more infrastructure people. We need people that are just excited about the business opportunity. So yes, there is an incubator program, a very successful one, but it's completely independent of the association. And that's also, I think, a very positive signal of the growth within the ecosystem. It was founded by two serial entrepreneurs, very successful ones in the UK. And it's called Block Dojo, Satoshi Block Dojo. And they have been such a success that they have just announced the second setup after London, now in Miami. And they have achieved something beautiful, I think. They completely took out the conversation of blockchain as an infrastructure and even the Craig Wright discussion, right? And have people focus on the advantages this tech gives them. And so we are aiming to work very closely with them for our education programs. And it's very much in line with the way also I think about it. So I'm excited about their success.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that. I'm actually kind of curious about Bitcoin Association. What are your views on like emerging markets like India, like the African continent? Like, what are your views in terms of the talent or expansion for BSV over there?
So I have a bit of a bias because I'm also I'm a co-owner of a financing engine that operates in East Africa. So I'm regularly in the region, and this whole market excites me. And I also used to do a lot of business in India in my professional past. I traveled regularly to India, and I did lots of business there. So I appreciate the level of ambition, the hunger and the know-how that exists in these markets. Bitcoin for me is leveling the playing field. It's allowing everyone the same type of opportunity. And that is new.
Right.
I mean, the reality is if you live in Uganda, you are restricted to participate in the world economy. You're restricted because you don't have easy access to financing, right? And if so, it comes at an immense cost.
Agreed.
And you don't have access to the same technology. So I see Bitcoin as a game changer. And that is very appealing. It's typically those regions and countries that have a need also to improve, right? It's easier to build a train with 400 kilometers per hour in a new city in China than fixing the tube in London, right? You have legacy infrastructure and you have habits which are established. And so emerging markets for us are a huge focus. Instead, however, and this is in line with our new strategy, instead of going as BA there, we are supporting ecosystem companies that are already in the region. There's going to be a large enterprise blockchain event in Bangalore at the beginning of August. And it's hosted by Time Chain Labs, is one of the ecosystem companies. And they have a very great agenda. They're hosting India's kind of key person for government blockchain projects. And they're also going to host Latif Ladid. He's the president of IEEE and the IPv6 forum. So they have brought together a lot of high-profile people to discuss, enterprise blockchain opportunities. And it's going to be sponsored by us. And we do in the pipeline now a developer and entrepreneur program in Uganda, which is going to launch in October. We are going to do a conference in Nigeria, in Abuja, in July, again hosted by an ecosystem company. And they have invited 1,000 developers to the university.
Wow.
And the government of Nigeria has already asked for a replication, basically, of the program that we're going to launch in Uganda. Again, focused very much on the practical side of the entrepreneurial side of the BSV blockchain and not the technical one. And this is all in line with my thinking of where this is moving. So to answer your question, yes, absolutely, emerging markets are key. I think we are going to see a world in the future where everyone has to compete, because we're making it very easy for the for the whole world, for the market, for the wider market to come onto the playing field, and that's exciting. I'm not shy of competition. I'm really excited about this. I want to see everyone having the same.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is really cool. Thank you for answering that. The reason I brought up the emerging markets like India and Africa, I mean, the African continent in general, is that like for xt.com, I mean, we definitely have ambitions like, in those markets. And we see like, because like personally for me, as someone who's a podcaster and also and also I have family roots over there, but I tend to be more American, I guess. But I am seeing a lot of entrepreneurship. There is this hunger coming from India, also in Turkey. But I'm also kind of curious about like North Africa and I guess the western part of Africa in general. But I would say the whole of Africa in general, really, because I'm seeing a lot of talent coming from there. There's a lot of entrepreneurship mindset that's really developing over there compared to what I'm seeing in the West, which is kind of, I mean, it's amazing. Like, I'm a little sad about what's happening in the United States. I mean, this is my personal view, but
I
what I'm
agree.
seeing like in Africa and India, oh, good Lord. Wow, these guys
Yeah,
are on fire, so there's incredible hunger. So yeah, just from the
I think it's going to be
xt.com
hard.
side, just want to
It's going to
share
be
with
hard
you.
for it's going to be hard for the generation that we have created in the West now. We're looking back at what 14 years, 13, 14 years of a bull market. So we have a generation of like early 20s
Yeah.
now that have never experienced anything but goods and services being available right away, groceries
Yeah.
falling in price, everything being
Hmm.
almost getting cheaper. And now, right,
Right.
we are entering a phase which they didn't know even existed. And all of a sudden, at the same time, you have technology enabling others to come onto the playing field, and they have to start becoming competitive. And I'm also
Hmm.
not as positive on the generation we have now, created here in the West in terms of competitiveness.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
it's going to be
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I know. I'm kind of yeah. I mean, I guess personally, I'm a little disappointed, but on the flip side, the the things that's happening in India and also in Africa, but also here in Dubai too, like the MENA region. I mean, look, I just have to tell you this, right? Like, let me give you a prophecy, all right, for Dubai. I do
I'm
believe,
curious.
personally for me, just to let you know, I was born and brought up in Dubai. So my prophetic message to you and the Bitcoin Association is that Dubai is going to be the blockchain capital of the world, because a lot of people are going to come to Dubai because they want to go to a place where they'll be treated best, whether it's in terms of wealth, talent,
Mm,
lifestyle. So, I mean, I just see incredible opportunity.
yeah,
So, yeah.
I
So
hear.
I'm excited about that.
I've
You know,
already
so
observed. I've observed how Dubai really took the opportunity during the pandemic, right? Remained open, kind of
yeah,
installed conditions that made it, manageable, and people felt safe to come over. They continued to have events, and that played massively into their hands. And then the
yeah,
whole the business environment is just extremely welcoming, as you put it, and stimulating. Um, I'm glad
yeah.
we found a strong partner locally to open up an office. I also see it expanding.
Hmm.
The event experience you have described earlier for us was tremendous. The quality is just extremely high. It's
Hmm.
hardly comparable to any other country, right? And so
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, it's an exciting time, and I think you found the right jurisdiction.
yeah. And I know, but I think like just personally for me, I never expected myself to actually to come back to Dubai. I was thinking I'm going to be either in Texas or Miami, but I know Providence has brought me back to Dubai, and just to see the incredible growth and competition too. So
Yeah.
and we just barely started. So I'm kind of excited about how Bitcoin Association uh, plans to take advantage of the situation here in Dubai and the MENA region. Do you have any plans? Are you willing to share, or it's in
Yes, 100%.
oh, it's sort of like a
But
secret plan?
no, there's no secrets with us. Let me just chip in one more factor that is often neglected and that makes Dubai attractive. It's also stability. And this is something that, Switzerland has been kind of perfectionized over the last, 100 years or so, offering a stable environment where you can trust that tomorrow you find the same conditions that makes you very comfortable as an entrepreneur, as an investor. And this now relates also to the blockchain, right? I mean, we speak about a set-in-stone protocol, right? You build on an infrastructure that's still the same tomorrow, right? No fundamental changes that disrupt your business model. So when it comes to MENA, we made the decision last year to build a MENA hub. We created an office under the leadership of Muhammad Salman. He operates a company called Mezzo locally, and he agreed to run a hub for us. He has built out the office now. He has a team on the ground. It's an open office space, so they're welcoming guest visitors and people to come by, have a chat, or even work from the space, do meetings, etc. And there's similar setups we're creating around the world to really foster discussion and collaboration. And this is a bit the attitude I want to see across the ecosystem. There's no hostility. Like I talk to other protocols and representatives the same way I talk to people within the ecosystem. We want to all learn together, and it should be a fair competition. It hasn't always been easy or made easy for us, and we still see a lot of hostility towards BSV. But partially, I also understand, right? Because it's a market. It's a fight for market share. There's always fierce competition. I've experienced it in other industries, so I don't shy away from it. But for the market, we're planning 2 larger events for the year, and these events are going to be. Let me just actually confirm the names so I don't get this wrong. There is 2 larger events happening in October, and one is called. Hold on. The Future Blockchain Summit in Dubai on the 10th of October, where we want to be present, and then also the Future Innovation Summit on the 21st of October. So you can expect us there, both of them with a stand. We're going to have a large booth and several companies represented. Again, it's not going to be a BA going there, right? It's going to be companies that we enable to go there and participate to demonstrate their innovation. I don't see you and me, Marcus, in a few years sitting here and discussing blockchain, as in like infrastructure. It's plumbing, right? You don't go to the restaurant and ask them, what database do you run your data on? No one gives a shit, right? You just want to have food.
Exactly.
And so, and so it's going to be the same here. In a few years, we don't sit here and discuss, Ethereum versus BSV versus Polygon. I think there will be a winner, and we discuss, well, have you seen, this new cool tool or this new cool application? So this is, I think, where we head. That's very exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I agree to that. I think I do look forward to a future where we are not talking about the blockchain plumbing system and stuff, but really just talk about how, talk about solutions, talk about how we could make the world a better place and how we could, provide good to the world, how crypto and blockchain-based solutions are going to revolutionize the internet, information, money, and how BSV is going to take the lead. I think that's something, I think that messaging is needed to be put out there. And also, and also you guys are also open to competition and you're not afraid of it. So I'm very glad to hear that, because not many people talk about it. So I think that is important to emphasize.
I mean, I'm attending events of all sorts, and it's like being afraid that there's other hedge fund providers. There's millions, right? I mean, it's like it's the nature of any industry. There's competitors, and I just think there's not enough room for many infrastructures. But there's a lot of room for competitors on the other layers, right? Be it infrastructure tools that are provided on the base protocol, or be it applications that are competing. It will actually be very easy for them to come on board, right? It's very easy to start using this permissionless infrastructure. And one thing that excites me is that the user will be again in the center of the attention. Right now, it's many applications that we're using, popular applications on the internet, are sitting on your data, and you're basically bound to use their services. You cannot leave. Or if, even worse, if you're censored because of, I don't know, political interest or whatever, then you may be losing an asset, right? Or your business. And going forward, data stays with you. So you might be able to still be censored, but then you can just join a competitor very easily and take all your business contacts and followers, etc., with you. And that means the businesses have to compete on user experience, right? On features that they provide. It's again the actual service. It's not just, we own your data, so we can determine how good our service is. That I think is the way the internet should have functioned from day one. So it's basically democratizing also the internet a bit.
True. Yeah. Man, hey, Patrick, hey, thank you so much for sharing that information. Really appreciate it. I wish we could continue more, but I'll tell you what, I'm excited for you guys coming down to Dubai for the two of the. Can you just mention the two events you'll be here in Dubai, please?
Sure. So we are going to be at the. Let me just pull that up again. At the Future Blockchain Summit on 10th of October, and at the Future Innovation Summit of the 21st of October.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, all right, okay, cool. No, just to let you know, most likely xe.com will also be there as well. So definitely me representing xe.com, we will be very happy to welcome you guys, and definitely will love to have you guys come to our head office here in downtown Dubai. So
I would love to come
definitely want to give you, definitely would love for you to meet our team and some of the exciting things we plan to work over here. So we are excited for you guys coming over here. So definitely happy to connect with you, Jimmy Wynn, also Mohammed Salman. I mean, you guys have been really amazing. So we look forward to seeing you guys do some amazing stuff over here. So, but before we end this episode, I want to end this with entrepreneurship. And I have some friends. They are upcoming entrepreneurs, and they are excited about blockchain. And I would love for you to kind of give a short message, a welcoming message to future entrepreneurs here in Dubai, why they should use BSV, and so just kind of
So Bitcoin was born as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, enabling micropayments. I've always been able to transfer you $1 million. That's not innovation, right? I would actually still use a bank because there's services around that give me security. But I've never been able to pay you a fraction of a cent in real time. That's new, and that will enable incredible innovation and new business models that we cannot even imagine at this point in time. And so that is incredibly exciting for me. Building on an infrastructure that doesn't limit you in any way. And I'm welcoming anyone to join us. I'm welcoming us to get in touch with us. We have an office in Dubai. Drop by, say hello. Just inform yourself. There's no strings attached, and start exploring what is possible with BSV.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. We will share the office details in the description below. Lovely. And also Patrick's contact details. So, anyways, fam.
Please do.
xe.com, thank you guys for tuning in, and Patrick Prinz, thank you for stopping by at the XDcast, and really appreciate the work that you guys do, and definitely looking forward to the best that is yet to come.
Yes, thank you for having me, Marcus, and I'm also looking forward to collaborating.
Sure.
Take care.
Absolutely. Anyways, y'all be good, y'all be safe, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.